Good seats right here in the sunshine if anybody wants them. All right, thank you all for coming today. I am Dale Bowden. I'm the chairman of the Louisville Regional Airport Authority Board, and we're here to celebrate the accomplishments of J.D. Nichols, one of the longest serving board members and former board chair of the Airport Authority, and a catalyst behind the expansion of the now Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, or SDF. J.D., welcome. I'd like to welcome and thank Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg and Doug Kelpman, President and CEO of ADK Consulting and Executive Search, for joining us today. Plus, I'd like to acknowledge those Airport Authority members and others in the community here. Jerry Abramson, former Louisville Mayor and LRAA board member. Phil Lynch, former Authority Board Chair and member. I haven't seen Mary Rose, but I think there's Mary Rose in the back there. Authority Board Vice Chair and member. Brian Lavin, current Board Secretary and Treasurer, and Pat McDonald, current Vice Chair. And then also we've got Bob Michael and Skip Miller, former Executive Directors of the Authority, and Dan Mann, the current Executive Director. And I think Jefferson County Sheriff John Aubrey may be here somewhere. Along with J.D.'s family, his wife Zelma, and daughters Kara, Kim, and Holly, along with their families, thank you all for being here. Now, as we know, airport operations are a major economic driver. Annually, we see upwards of $10.4 billion of economic impact in the region because of the activities at SDF and Bowman Field, plus nearly 83,000 direct and indirect jobs, or nearly 1 in 8 jobs in Louisville Metro, are because of our airports. More than $454 million is contributed in state and local taxes, which equals about $1 of every $7 for Louisville Metro tax. SDF is the proud global leader, that's a global leader in the world, for cargo operations. We're the 6th busiest cargo airport in the world and the 3rd busiest in North America, thanks to serving as the home of UPS Worldport, UPS's main domestic and international air hub, and the center of its worldwide air network. Louisville and SDF are also instrumental to billions of pounds of life-saving cargo and other goods reaching their destinations around the world every year. The airport has benefited from the vision and the hard work of talented board members and board chairs in the past, like Sam Record, J. Michael Brown, Phil Lynch, Jim Welch. However, SDF's global recognition and current regional impact would not be possible without the innovation and determination of J.D. Nichols. In the late 1980s, it was his determination and drive that helped the leadership of the Airport Authority, the city, and at the time, county, move forward with plans for SDF to make its mark. The initial efforts by the authority to redesign and expand the airport to accommodate UPS's expansion were not successful, and the project was terminated. Mr. Nichols believed it was possible, and at his personal expense, he engaged engineers and consultants to develop a plan that redesigned the airfield. Ultimately, this led to the multi-billion-dollar expansion that included 2 new parallel runways and the decision by UPS to make Louisville home for its domestic and international operations. J.D. served on the authority's board for more than 20 years as one of its longest-serving board members from October 1991 through July 2012. He was board chair from December 2003 through November 2009 and vice chair twice during his tenure for a total of 8 years. After resolving the airfield and expansion issues to keep UPS in Louisville, another crisis occurred. UPS was unable to find enough workers to fill the empty positions at the World Hub. Jerry Abramson tells a great story of a UPS official coming to his office one day and saying, UPS is moving. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing anybody else can do. We're out of here. J.D., along with Governor Paul Patton, Doug Cobb from GLI, Doug Kelpman, then at UPS, devised the Metro College. Together, they conceived and implemented the Metropolitan College, an innovative program that pays for the college or technical training tuition of students that work part-time at UPS's Worldport. There's a fascinating front page 1998 Wall Street Journal article that details all the behind-the-scenes high drama of this political sausage making, and it is not for the faint of heart. To date, more than 22,000 students have used Metropolitan College with 13,000 plus certificates, associate, bachelor, and graduate degrees earned. With the creation of Metropolitan College, it provided a stable workforce, which was crucial for the crucial piece of the package for the UPS to remain in Louisville and further expand its footprint. UPS's growth has resulted in a 5.2 million square foot sorting facility at SDF, which is the largest automated package facility in the world. JD was also a key figure in the development of the Louisville Renaissance Zone Corporation and its Renaissance South Park Business Center. This is a 680-acre business park which features 6.7 million square feet of facilities under 13 businesses, on the roof of 13 businesses with approximately 3,200 employees, including UPS's Centennial Ground Hub. The Renaissance Zone Corporation was the first TIFs district in the state of Kentucky, serving as a model for future initiatives. And it was a proven success story that we've been told is probably the best TIF ever in the state of Kentucky. It's provided $81 million in infrastructure projects to date. And while these mentions may be brief, they are a mighty example of JD's many enduring contributions to SDF and the community. Professionally, he successfully led NTS in the development and management of 10,000 acres of land and more than 11 million square feet of real estate throughout the country. Beyond the Airport Authority, he has served on the boards of numerous community, civic, and charitable organizations, including the University of Louisville, Kentucky Council for School Performance Standards, President's Society at Bellarmine University, and the Executive Committee for Greater Louisville, Inc. And while his talents have spanned to many in our community, I think we all believe that because JD's a licensed pilot and kind of an airplane geek, we like to think he has a special fondness for success at the Airport Authority. JD, on behalf of the current board, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your vision, and determination to shape SDF, allowing us to evolve as a global leader in cargo and economic engine for our region. Thank you. And Doug, I'd like to invite Doug Kelpman from ADK Consulting and Executive Search, as well as a longtime friend of JD's, to say a few words. Doug?
Well, it's a real honor for me to be here, excuse me, seeing all of the stuff that JD got going for us. We're sitting in a parking lot roadway here, a very interesting place to hold a special event. But I want to honor the long life of JD from a UPS perspective. I served as Vice President of Government Affairs and Public Affairs for UPS for 17 years in my career. And I retired early in 2000, 2001. 1980, we started air operations in Louisville. 1982, we started next day air service in Louisville on a 35-acre apron, and initially with 135 personnel. 1985, a separate operating entity called UPS Airlines was created and headquartered in Louisville. Next day air services had grown to be 48 contiguous states, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and our first intercontinental service to Europe. In '87, we embarked on establishing UPS Airlines, which means we have an FAA operating certificate, and those aircraft are now being flown by UPS personnel, pilots, mechanics, maintaining them. And that was 85 aircraft. And then something else happened in 1988 as well. We were beating all of our forecasts, both domestic and international, and the challenges did begin to materialize. The runway infrastructure at SDF was not going to be adequate to support our new growth projections for packages or employees or airplanes. So we began a very confidential process, both internally and externally, utilizing the airport code of SWE. Now, that's actually not an airport. It stood for somewhere else. The same airports that we looked at previously, Dayton, Cincinnati, Nashville, Indianapolis, we were looking again. 3 of the 4 had lost their hub service, and they were extremely interested in talking to UPS. And then along comes J.D. Nichols. Now, I met J.D. at the Hurstbourne Country Club. We both had a love for aviation. I've been in it all my life. He flies big jets. I fly small little airplanes. But we had a love for it, and became evident the first time I met him. A subsequent meeting with J.D. turned the tide, I think, for Louisville and for UPS. His simple question to me was, what can we do to help? I went to Dick Olme, my boss. Some of you know Dick. Alive and well down in Florida, retired. He was the first UPS airline president. And I said, if I am careful, I would like to tell JD about our SWE study in general terms to see what his reaction is. Dick said, you got it. So I did, and the rest is history. JD did step into action. A lot happened. We did form a confidential study group with engineers from NTS, JD's company, Jack Blaisdell, our UPS facilities engineer, Bob Michael, then the airport director at the SDF, and me. A planning concept for the project was created, and it was huge, as you all know now, but back then we had no clue. The big day is Saturday. I remember distinctly, we walked into JD's conference room, and I said, this is a good guy. He's got my Cinnabon cinnamon rolls sitting there waiting with a cup of coffee. It was a great day for us that he rolled out this strategy, not only for us, but for the passenger carriers here at SDF. He had gathered some very influential businessmen in the community, including our mayor for life, Jerry Abramson, and Harvey Sloan, our Jefferson County judge. Dick Olme and I were flabbergasted as JD laid out the scenario to keep UPS in Louisville and keep pace with our growth demands. Hearts were pounding, at least mine was, and dry mouth kicked in for me as the discussion lasted a better part of the day. And JD, in essence, at the end of the day said, who is in? And of course, everybody was looking at Jerry and Harvey because we knew that this was an extremely big political decision for them. Much to their credit, both Jerry and Harvey gave us a thumbs up, said we're in, and Jerry, thank you for that. Of course, the other business people in the room were very supportive as well. And when the Airport Authority announced in 1988 the Louisville Airport Improvement Program, LAIP, Bob Michael and I were honored. Airplanes make noise, don't they? Sorry. Bob Michael and I were honored to be LAIP co-managers, but a lion's share of credit goes to the Cordino and Associates group, who were retained to develop the project. I know Joe Cordino is not here, but Bert Deutsch is here somewhere. Thank you, Bert. You guys did a fantastic job, and still doing a job, I guess, on some things. They did a masterful job of bringing the new SDF to reality. JD, we stayed in Louisville. Dale mentioned the information about WorldPort. There's already 150 customers that relocated to the Louisville area to be near the UPS hub. We have 294 aircraft in the fleet. UPS has 294 aircraft in the fleet today, what we call brown tails. Little did we realize at the time, JD, what a huge impact your strategic involvement and dedication would be. Louisville thanks you, UPS thanks you, the airport thanks you. I personally thank you, sir. Job well done.
Mayor Greenberg, would you please join us? Good morning, everyone. What a perfect day to have this special event. The weather is once again wonderful here in the springtime in Louisville, but it just finished another amazing weekend here in our city, where we welcomed people from around the country and around the world for the PGA Championship. And they all started and ended their journey in Louisville right here through our airport. And one of the great things that comes after a record-breaking weekend just 2 weeks before for the 150th Kentucky Derby. Some of the stats that Dale talked about earlier, that Dan has provided to me about that weekend, were so amazing. But what I found most amazing was a few people that I saw this weekend who were also here from out of town for the Derby said to me the same thing. And they were complimenting our city on a lot of different things, but one of them was the airport. And they were talking about how our airport is such a wonderful reflection of everything that's great about Louisville, about the hospitality, about how when they came in for the Derby, they felt like they were at Churchill Downs the second they got off the plane. The same for when they came here for the PGA Championship. The welcome that the airport gave them was wonderful. And we have an amazing director in Dan Mann, a great board chair, and Dale Bowden and their teams to thank for where the airport is today. And so Dan, Dale, to you and your entire teams, thank you for the wonderful operation that you lead here at our airport. But we're here, yes. And what we're hearing about today is further proof that the current airport teams are truly standing on the shoulders of giants, of Mayor Abramson and what he has done not just for this airport, but for our entire city. The leadership that he has provided to help the airport get to where it is in our city, that we can now grow to new heights from where we are, is unprecedented. Mayor Abramson, thank you so much for your leadership. And then, of course, there is J.D. Nichols. The stories that you have heard today are great examples of the power of leadership, the power of innovation, of entrepreneurship, of initiative, of teamwork, all of that JD embodies. That JD, by having an idea, by having a passion for this airport, for this city, for this state, and then getting the right people together at the right place to truly make innovative things happen, is amazing, JD. Thank you so much. Just think about where our airport would be without the leadership, initiative, innovation, and teamwork that JD has put together over his 20 years of service to our airport. But then even more so, think about where our city would be. Think about where our city would be had UPS decided to go somewhere else. We would have lived in a very different city than we do today. And so JD, on behalf of the entire city of Louisville, thank you for what you have done to support this airport, to support this city, to make Metropolitan College a reality, to keep UPS here and keep it growing. And we're going to continue. We can see the great new hangar that is just part of what UPS is going to continue doing in this city. And when you think about all of the other jobs that it's created, all of the other opportunities that we have to attract events like the PGA Championship to our city because of this airport, it is truly amazing. And so thank you, JD, for what you have done with your leadership, with Mayor Abramson's leadership, with the continued leadership of Dale and Dan and everyone else. We can truly continue to move Louisville forward in an exciting new directions. Congratulations and thank you. How are you doing? And so now it is my pleasure to introduce not just the man of the hour, but the man of the past couple of decades, J.D. Nichols.
Well, my talk is going to be very short because between Doug and Dale, they covered everything that I had to talk about. So there's nothing much left. I will say it was an effort by a whole lot of people, not just me. And Jerry was very involved, and Bert Deutsch was involved, and not going to try and get into how many more people. It was, dozens of people or hundreds of people that worked very hard to accomplish what we accomplished. And I'd say congratulations to them as well. I forgot about, we've got our vice chairman out here too. Phil Lynch was a little involved in that thing. He's sitting here. Of course, Doug was extremely involved. Jerry was involved a little bit, but I'm kidding. So anyway, thank you all for this, and thank you for all the nice comments and from Dale and Doug and the mayor. Now, I'll take my seat.
Thank you again, Mayor Greenberg, Doug, and importantly, JD, for the acknowledgement, stories, and memories we shared today. I would be remiss in not recognizing that this celebration would not be taking place if it wasn't for Tommy Elliott. Tommy was instrumental in ensuring this community celebrated JD for his tenacity and drive, and that the transformation of Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport has permanently shaped our community. I know Tommy's up above smiling down on this day. And I'm going to close with two sort of exclamation points that are all fact-based. According to the Courier Journal in 1988, then Airport Authority Chair Frank Howard said, "It wouldn't have happened without J.D. Nichols." And after J.D. figured out the design issues, one of the people he got involved in helping him was David Jones. And there are lots of legends about the two of them and how they traveled back and forth on helicopters to work the legislature over in Frankfurt. And J.D. has always, as he did a moment ago, given credit to others that were involved in this. And Mr. Jones told me several occasions, once I came on the board of the Louisville Airport Authority, that UPS would not be here and we would not have a logistics economy if it was not for J.D. Nichols, full stop. I think that's what we've shown exactly today. Thank you again, J.D. Grab that. And so if you guys want to come up and we'll do a pull a curtain up behind.
Can we get a photo op real quick? Can we get a photo op with you guys?